West Virginia has picked up two impactful transfers that should help boost the 2025 WVU football offense. Let's talk about them. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast here for another WVU football transfer portal update as the Mountaineers have secured two more commitments in one day yet again. It's going at it hard on this recruiting trail right now for these transfers and this transfer portal window, doing a great job of filling positions that need filled where they've seen holes throughout the spring, and they've gone out and targeted some really impactful guys to try and bring in there, and two more of those guys have now committed to the Mountaineers that are going to help this offense in 2025, one being a wide receiver there. It's going to help West Virginia on the outside. They needed outside receivers. They go get a skillful guy, a speedy guy to get you some speed on the outside. That's going to help there in Justin Smith-Brown. And then they continue to target offensive linemen to add to this room. We knew that was the main area that really needed some help there added via this transfer portal window. And it seems like the coaching staff noticed that as well. They've gone out and targeted some really impressive guys in the portal. And one of those is now committed in Malik Agbo. So those are the two players we're going to highlight here on this video. And then towards the tail end, I'll tell you some other transfer targets to keep an eye on because we do have multiple guys on commitment watch. These were two of them that I talked about in a live stream earlier today, actually. And I've had Smith-Brown on commitment watch for a while now, just recently put Agbo on there, but then they both commit to the Mountaineers. So if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with what's going on for West Virginia in the transfer portal, who's moving out, who's coming in, and of course, who's West Virginia targeting, who's coming in on visits, all of that good stuff we keep you up to date with here on our live streams on the Country Roads webcast. So be sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell clicked so you know when we go live here on the channel. And before we get into discussing each of these guys, if you would just take a second, hit that thumbs up button. That helps a ton with this algorithm here on YouTube and helps this video find more Mountaineer fans like yourself. Throw your thoughts in the comments as well on anything you see here, whether it be the addition of Agbo, Justin Smith-Brown, or the class in general. Which of these targets is your favorite that you'd like to see WVU land that we'll talk about momentarily? We always appreciate those interactions as well here on the channel. So with no further ado, I'll stop rambling and let's get into talking about each of these guys. Let's talk about the big hog molly up front. Malik Agbo coming to West Virginia from Texas. Another transfer West Virginia's bringing in from the SEC, from a power conference team. And I think this could be an impactful addition. Let's talk a little bit about Malik Agbo. All right, so here you see it on his social media announcing earlier today his commitment to WVU, saying, "Beyond blessed and excited to have this opportunity. Let's get to work." And you see his commitment graphic there, as well as a couple pictures from his visit when he visited WVU recently. And this is an impactful addition for multiple reasons, I think, more so because of potential and what he could be, what he was rated as coming out of high school. But he also, went to Texas, and you don't go there if you're not one of the elites, especially on the offensive line. And I think when you look at film of this guy and some of his numbers in the past, it kind of proves that to be true for sure. Then I really like the addition here of Malik Agbo. But just to hammer that home, here is a picture of his recruiting profile from back when he was coming out of high school. This is on 247 Sports. You see, the great size there. So he has kind of slimmed down, gotten more athletic throughout his time, and the way he was utilized at Texas kind of speaks to that as well. But you can see he was a 90 graded 4-star coming out of the state of Washington as a high school recruit, top 25 player at the position, top 10 player in the state there, according to 247. And then I have some notes on him here as well to add to those numbers. And that is, of course, 2 years of eligibility remaining. Like I said, he has slimmed down to be 6'4", 300 pounds now. And I think that's because a lot of the ways that he was utilized in his brief time there, his couple years at Texas, he was actually utilized more as like a reserve tight end in jumbo package situations. We've seen West Virginia do this in a couple of times in the past few seasons. Nick Malone played that role for West Virginia before he got into to being a starting offensive lineman last year. So think of that type of role for Malik Agbo. That's how he was used at Texas at times, but also was, playing tackle there and even appeared at right guard once. So he's a guy that can play multiple positions. Last season in 2024, when he was on the field, had a 74 PFF grade on pass blocking and highly regarded out of high school. Like we said, there had offers from everyone. You saw his grades there on 247, but Rivals had him rated even higher, actually, as the number 17 offensive tackle in the nation and a top 5 player in the state. In his 43 pass blocking snaps at Texas, he allowed 0 sacks. And like I said, he even caught a pass there once because he was used in a jumbo package at tight end. So that shows, his athleticism, how versatile he is. He's lined up at tight end. He was a highly rated tackle coming out of high school. He played guard even once there at Texas. So West Virginia is getting a versatile offensive lineman with a super high ceiling, very athletic young man here in Malik Agbo that's going to factor in right away. We'll see if he can earn a starting job, but he's definitely someone that I think will be in the rotation and can be used in multiple positions because of his background. So super excited to add Malik Agbo to our transfer in list. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll talk a little bit about Justin Smith-Brown, a wide receiver addition that I'm excited about as well. All right, so as we pull up our transfer tracker, where this is our transfer target list, which more on this momentarily, but we can take one of these guys here, Malik Agbo, move him from the target list up to our transfer in list, where he joins the other names that we've talked about recently, including Cade Hensley, the kicker from Texas, which put out a live stream this morning talking about him and his update on some of these targets, and including Agbo, who I did have on commitment watch at the time, now officially commits to WVU. And you can tell already West Virginia has made it a point to add offensive linemen, as I talked about earlier in this video. Mikael Clay, Josh Isosa, and now Malik Agbo. And there are a couple others that I feel really good about West Virginia maybe landing. So they may be bringing in 5 more offensive linemen in this portal. We'll see how it happens. But Malik Agbo definitely will be one of those as we add him to our transfer in list. And then the other name that we're going to add here is Justin Smith-Brown, who, of course, is coming to West Virginia from South Carolina State. Had covered him in the past when West Virginia was first targeting him. I think what you like here is multiple things. Number one, he brings great speed, which you, of course, love to have at the wide receiver position. We know Rich Rod loves those speedy guys, but also he's an outside receiver primarily, which is what West Virginia really needed to add here with the receivers that they're adding. And I think you see that in both the additions thus far with Christian Hamilton, the wide receiver from North Carolina, and now Justin Smith, the wide receiver from South Carolina State. And funny enough, both similar size as well. Hamilton was 6 foot 190. Justin Smith-Brown is 6 foot 190 pounds himself. 1 year remaining for him. I'll share some notes on him, and then we will highlight some of his standout plays. Got a little bit of a video highlight to show you some of his game as well. So I'll pull up his commitment that he shared on social media while I talk a little bit about him. As he said, to God be the glory. Let's do it, Morgantown, #committed. And he sent some pictures of him from his visit here to WVU. But at South Carolina State this past season, 54 receptions for 749 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he averaged 14 yards per reception. That shows you a little bit of the speed that I'm talking about there. And he's an experienced guy, over 1,000 snaps in his 3 seasons at South Carolina State. And he was an outside receiver on 663 snaps there, which I think is important because when you look at the receiver roster that's left at WVU right now, you have, Preston Fox, Man Singleton, Gerard Bowie, Rodney Gallagher, Cyrus Trawl. All of those guys are primarily inside receivers. You only have 3 or 4 guys on the outside there, and guys like Cam Vaughn, Jaden Bray, etc. So you needed to add more outside receivers, and Justin Smith-Brown playing 663 of his snaps on the outside, I think is big because that's what you needed here. That was what you needed to target, was outside receivers, and you got one here. And not only is Smith-Brown explosive and fast, he also is great on the outside in run blocking, which of course is required in a Rich Rod system. Had nearly a 72 run blocking grade by PFF in 2024, and I think what West Virginia is getting with him is speed and experience and someone that can play on the outside, which is what West Virginia needed. But enough of me talking about him. Let's check out some of his plays. You can see here Justin Smith-Brown making some plays at South Carolina State, where, like you see there, the speed, as I said, you see the deep threat capabilities. His 14 yards per reception this past season was actually the lowest of his 3 years there. It was as high as 18 at one point. So you see there also the ability to, catch a short pass, make somebody miss and go the distance, because if he gets free in the open field, there's not too many guys that are going to catch him. So I think Justin Smith-Brown is someone that can compete for immediate playing time. And of course, that's what he's coming to do. He's not coming here with 1 year of eligibility remaining after he played 3 years at South Carolina State for no reason. He thinks he can get on the field, and I think he has tape that shows he does have the ability to get on the field with his style of play. West Virginia needing guys at that outside receiver position, and of course the intangible aspect of being able to run block as well to go along with the nice speed and receiving ability that you've seen here in the little highlight package that he shared there. So one more look here at our transfer in list now as it stands currently, subject to change at any moment as West Virginia's red hot reeling in transfer commitments right now. So let's talk transfer targets. Who are the names that we should keep an eye on that may be committing soon in the future? For me, the way that I kind of like to judge that is guys that West Virginia gets in on visits. I like their chances there. I like to put them on commitment watch at that point. So right now we're keeping an eye on Jacob Robinson from Emory and Henry, a big defensive back at 6'4", and Darian Lewis, a defensive back from Akron, which of course West Virginia brought in Golden Nelson from Akron in the last cycle. Maybe that'll help them there, but both those guys coming in on visits. Isaiah Spencer, a wide receiver from Jackson State, is scheduled to come in on a visit in the near future as well. And then here you have offensive lineman Will Osteen from Jack State coming on a visit soon, and offensive lineman Davion Harley from Jack State, who's already visited WVU. Those are two that I definitely have on commitment watch, and were the offensive linemen that I was noting there that West Virginia could still add to the mix, and I think they could very well add 5 offensive linemen. I feel good about West Virginia landing at least one of these two, if not both. On the defensive side of things, edge rusher Joseph Adadir from Texas Tech visited WVU recently as well. And then coming up this week, we'll have visits from Jalen Caldwell, a huge offensive lineman from Grand Valley State, and then a linebacker from Virginia Tech and Jaden McDonald. So those are some names to keep an eye on, particularly the ones that I have on commitment watch there with Davion Harley, Will Osteen, the couple defensive backs there that I mentioned, and maybe keep an eye on edge rusher Adadir from Texas Tech as well. But that's it for this transfer portal update here on the CRW. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Apologies for being a little bit lengthy, but didn't have time to really do a live stream right now, but wanted to get this info out here on a pre-recorded video and wanted to be sure and share some notes on each of these guys that I jotted down. So hopefully you guys appreciated that. Hopefully you guys continue to follow these transfer updates by hitting that subscribe button. These are just my thoughts, though. Would love to hear your opinions there in the comment section. Appreciate those interactions as we continue to try and grow the CRW community throughout Mountaineer Nation. And one way you can help us do that is just by hitting that thumbs up button really quickly, helping us out with that algorithm, and we certainly do appreciate that. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.